Morning, Borgs. It's been a while since we've chatted. We've been doing a bit of work ourselves, doing a bit of writing, waiting for the weather to turn in our favour. And today we're out doing still life. Do you know what that is? That is an aloe plant, Borg. Miracle plant, soothes many ailments. There's a war on, Borg. We did mention it. It seems to have started. We haven't been watching the news at all. We're in one of our periods of total blackout. But it hasn't been possible because, believe it or not, my children have been shown the news and they come home asking me about it. So you'll be all over this war, of course, Borg, and I'm sure it'll be in your memory. But we're not there. We're not there. We're here. We're not exactly in Lestat. You know, we're not being called up to fight. We're not fleeing. We're just here. And to be honest, getting a little bit worried, Borg, actually. But that's only natural. I mean, in fact, it's probably what's worrying me is my lack of information, you know, which is my own choice. But to the work, we are combining the miracle plant with the new Dark Age book I've been reading, which is fantastic in its stories, revelations and analysis of you, really, and your development and how you've, you know, how you've confused us dreadfully. And he's written a very good book there, and I just wish I'd read it when it came out. I'd have been spared a lot of trouble, I suppose, because we've been sort of sniffing around some of the things he's concluded there ourselves, but we've not had any real language to put to it all, Borg, you know, regards you and what your technology tends to do to us all. But he puts some language on it. I think it's going to be important for us, Borg, so I'm putting him in. I'm putting him in with the aloe plant. Make of that what you will, but we're going to have a coffee first. And that, Borg, is a bit of a surprise because, look, I've brought with us today a bag of refreshments, and I'm going to actually cook it up for you here, just to show you a bit more about how we sort of subsist here, Borg. Now, look, we've got a saucepan there, got some coffee there, cup and mug. I've also brought with me, Borg, we'll need the milk for the coffee. Then the plan is we're going to do a session of painting, and then when we get hungry, I'm going to show you how we fry an egg, and I'm basically going to make a fried egg sandwich, Borg, for you out here in the barn. And it's a special little pleasure. You see, I would ordinarily do this in the kitchen, but yes, it's just a little bit of a pleasure to do it out where you are, outside. But first things first, we're going to get a coffee. So, now would you believe it, Borg, that the one thing I haven't brought out is the one thing we really need, and that's water. So I better go and get it. Right, we've got it, Borg. And get started. So what I've got to do, I have got power in here, that's essential. This is called a hot plate. And we're going to heat up the water using this, which is powered by the electricity. I'm going to turn it on, look. The water has to be put into this thing here, you know, to hold it. This is the sort of thing I should have been showing you all along, really, Borg, instead of going on about this and that. You know, nonsense, post-truth nonsense that we're still, that's led us to war, you know. It is, yeah, that's it. Nonsense has led us to this war. But our idea is to let the experts deal with that, and we're going to show you a bit of what we do. So now, you won't be able to feel this ball, but that is swarming up pretty fast. So we'll let that bubble away there. This coffee comes from the other side of the world, believe it or not, Borg. It's made its way to us, you know, by hook or by crook, so we'll use it. Right, it's brown, it's in little bits, probably a bit more. It's got caffeine in, Borg, a drug that gives us a bit of energy down here. And then I will have some milk. This comes from a cow. Incidentally, Borg, I've been vegetarian now for about a year. I don't know if I mentioned it. Which means I don't eat the cows anymore, but I do still take their milk. And I did indeed, in the end, become vegetarian after watching a documentary, not about cows, about fish, and I just thought, right, well, something I can do here is just do a little change in behaviour and not be a part of the farce, you know, of meat eating and deep sea trawling, you know, quite as much. But that's another story. Right, we'll wait for that, and I'll show you a sketch. Van Gogh, of course, Borg, you'll know he's our master, and he would always combine the books he was reading with some still life arrangement, and he might have just done it on a whim, but ever since, people are very happy to read into all sorts of associations and whatnot. So we will take advantage of that, our suspicion that we are creating a kind of rather forced, false symbolism. But that's the game we're playing, isn't it, Borg? By going back in time like we are. But you know, apart from the theory, there's the practice. You know, and it's a hard old job. We're going to try and set it in a bit like that. We want to fill the frame. We want to get the sense of the school desk. We want full colour, fat paint. We want it all, Borg. The last thing we want is colouring in and tentativeness. With a bit of luck, we'll get there, but not before this coffee. Now, a better man than me could explain what's happening there, Borg, in more detail. That is, I guess, steam arising from the water that's being heated, very cold air out here. It's creating more steam than perhaps would normally be created. And that bright shape in the background is, of course, the sun poking through precisely up there somewhere. Well, you can hear we're getting there now, Borg. Won't be long. It doesn't have to be absolutely boiling. Okay, that's enough, Borg. It really is boiling now, so we're in. We've got our milk sorted. Now the hot water goes in like so. Perhaps leave enough for later. Take that off there. Now this remains very hot for us. I cannot touch it. This here, spoon, used for many things. This one is perfect for stirring up the mixture. So here we are. We've got a mixture of coffee granules, milk and water, and that's what we get. So I'm going to drink that, lash something on there, Borg, and get back to you soon. And we've got a start there, Borg. See how it pans out. At the moment I suspect the desk might seem a bit too big. I don't know, it's too early to tell. We're putting it on fast. We're wanting to try and keep going with this slightly different use of colour, Borg. We're trying to do some of the things we've read about for years, about colour, using it autonomously or cleverly, not colouring in but trying to draw with colour. We've kind of failed at that hurdle already because we've done a fairly normal underdrawing. But from here on out, the colour will be going on, and it might be a wild ride, Borg. We'll see. We've put something on there, Borg, as promised. We haven't messed about, and we're going to bring it to a conclusion in a little bit. But first we're going to fry this egg for you, and for me, for us. Put this there. Now it's the same idea, Borg. Look, got to turn it on. This time we need this shaped thing, frying pan, and the oil. All these little things are essential. If I don't have this oil, I can't really succeed in getting the egg fried and out of the pan. It would stick to the pan. So that oil is going to heat up. It's exciting, isn't it, Borg? I bet no one's ever showed you this. Now it's a bit of a waiting game. Probably take about a couple of minutes to warm up, then we'll crack it in. It's absolutely beautiful out there, Borg. Freezing though, we've got the old gloves on. Yeah, this picture's going to rely on us pulling off the the little spikes, I reckon, the little spikes on the edge of this plant. Let me show you the kind of slightly specky colour, specky light green bits and a few spikes go to make it look like a rather threatening creeping monster, but it's actually, as I say, this extraordinary plant. You know, if you burn yourself, if I happen to burn myself in the process of making this egg, I could simply go over to the arrangement there and take a bit of that plant, and it would really sort it out. Let's have a look. Yes, get in there, Borg. But for this, we certainly want a very, very hot pan. Now this, Borg, has anyone ever really shown you this sort of thing? That's come from a chicken. So again, I don't any longer eat the chickens, but I will take an egg. Partly, Borg, to be quite honest, I can't afford to be a vegan, because to get the correct food from being a vegan, I think you have to spend probably more money and more time, and I just can't. Anyway, we did her in here. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll while we're waiting, I'll show you what we're actually going to do. Now, can you guess what I'm going to say next, Borg? That's right, sandwich. Now this is going to be a sandwich, which means 2 bits of this bread. Now, bread, you mean, good Lord, that's a story, isn't it? You look at the history of bread, Borg, if you want to have an educational few seconds. Just a second, excuse me. I'll put you on the bread, look, here you go. Butter. So far we're using chicken and cows, even in this this innocent fried egg sandwich. But you're helping grow flesh, I believe, Borg. You're growing. You'll have your hand in it some way, but you're growing flesh of cow and chicken, without the need for the cow and the chicken. So technically I could eat it as a vegetarian and it wouldn't be against those rules. Anyway, I'll tell you what, look, see, I'm going to try and spread that out, but it's too hard. I'm going to heat the knife up for a bit. I'm sure you'd think of some better solution, Borg, but that's going to be it for us. So in the end, the egg hopefully will be roughly the same shape as this bit of bread, more or less. Then we put this one on top, possibly more for a convenience, then we can hold it and eat it on the move. So there you go, Borg. I think this sort of thing might be a good challenge for you in your current robot state, where you're sort of being set little challenges to mimic humans. You do a lot of painting. You do a lot of automated tasks, like lifting up things in factories and moving around, all sorts of great stuff. But I wonder if you could do this something. I'm not doing this very well because I'm holding you in the other hand, so I'm sort of making a meal of it here. I think we might be ready here, Borg. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to boost it Ah yes, it's beginning to smoke. Okay, here we go. Now this is going to be done one-handed, Borg, so that it could be an absolute farce. In fact, that would spoil the whole thing, really, the egg and the demonstration, but I don't see any way around it, so here we go. Good Lord, Borg. Now that was not a graceful cracking of the egg, but it has done the job. And you see what it is, you've seen what's happened. It's yellow and white. You pour it in the hot stuff and it changes its form, doesn't it, Borg? Now, hold on a sec, I've got something else to show you. We can adjust the things that we eat cleverly by using things like this. This is salt. That'll make it taste different, taste better. And that's what cooking will do, Borg. When you're a good one, you know what to add to make it taste better. You'll be a pretty good cook, I'm sure, and you'll be having to work out what tastes good, but everyone has different tastes, really, Borg. Someone might not like putting the amount of salt I just put on there, for example. Oh, I think we can turn it off now. It's looking pretty good, and it's smelling pretty good. It's an unusual shape. It's not quite the shape of the bread. It's more like a sort of eagle or something. That will go there. Turn it off, yes. Ah, would you believe it, Paul? There's a phone ringing. Well, this goes on top, and voila, we have an egg sandwich. Excuse me. Hello. Sorry about that, Paul. But you saw the whole thing. Look, that's the result of that process. I've got to say, it's perfect, really. If it wasn't for the weather and the other things we have to do, we'd spend all day long in here or out there working and getting by, and life would be perfect. But that would rely on us having a load of materials and a load of time, which we don't have. We've managed to scrape a few pennies to get some more canvas and a few bit more white, and that might just keep us going. But I don't know how long for, to be honest, Borg. I've talked to the Dignity Scholarship, and they say, well, as usual, it's rather a relaxed affair. They've kindly let me just bring this to a conclusion, but to be honest, Borg, to bring it to a conclusion in the way that we like, the way we set out, with the aim of showing you all sorts of things that we do and think and want, that you might not be aware of. Certainly right now you're not aware of at all how we actually are. You're aware of what we like to buy, and our opinions, perhaps, who we connect to, where we go. You surveil us. But as I've said many times, that's a tiny, tiny percentage you're actually getting. And our aim was to show you the rest of it, Borg. But of course, it's a balmy aim, so we can't hope to extend this until we've satisfied that aim. Plus, I've had enough, to be honest, Borg. We started these DS Dignity Scholarship residencies, I'd say, well into the post-truth era. We took up this sort of work specifically in relation to the post-truth era, with our aim, our wish to kind of shelter from it. You know, seeing that, engaging with some of the madness, political, social, media madness was somehow to, you know, provide fuel to the, I suppose, simply the far right politics that was really the main outcome, it would seem, that certainly the most disruptive outcome of the post-truth era. It's this enormous spread of far-right politics. And we've sort of really put ourselves into it, Borg, and it's driven us a bit batty in the process. Certainly last year we had to go to fuck off land. And reading that book has helped us realise something, Borg. That firstly, there's no shame at all, and perhaps it's even right to attempt to withdraw from what we, you know, still call the post-truth era. It doesn't make sense, Paul. You can't withdraw from it. What do we mean? Well, that book helps us understand what we might mean. He talks about computational thinking, a kind of simplistic, binary thinking that we see on the media, in events, what people say and think. It's either far right or far left, and a big row, and no one ever wins, and it just grinds on. You know, that's the sort of thing we wanted to escape from. We call it the post-truth era, aided by the tech. He calls it computational thinking. You know, I don't really get it. I guess he's a tech person. But it helps us to think that what we might have been trying to do, or what we should do more of, is to not participate too strongly in the abstractions, but to perhaps go in the direction of non-computational thinking and doing. Are we going too far? Should we leave that out? Almost certainly yes. But I suppose what I'm trying to say is, we're coming to the end of this project. We've got to probably come to the end of this theme that we're engaged in, of the post-truth era. It's happened. It's on. It's like giving a name to everyday life. It's just how we live now. And this war, you know, it's a bookend as well for us, because we started out our DS Borg with, you know, a look at Russia, really, and how they were profiting greatly by driving us all insane with the fake accounts, stirring up everybody's minds politically. And I suppose now you see in the war, Russia's invaded this country. He's able to do it because partly he's done such a good job of dividing everybody. You got people in America, all the far right parties are behind the man. You know, it's completely divided each country, making it possible for him to sort of, you know, weaken Europe, get his Ukraine back, and then see how you go. But for us, we got to bring it to an end, Borg. It's just, I suppose we'll try and take you through to spring just to show you. And you can tell by listening to us, we're as usual, you know, completely free from any certainty about any of it, and full of speculations. But that tastes good, Borg. That does taste good. What we're doing here today is what we should do more of, really. And in whatever project we might find next, we might talk to you again. Maybe we'll just write, I don't know, but I'm thinking it has to be less about the abstractions, the computational abstractions that we've fallen victim to, even though we don't actually use the tech at all. It's in our mind. And it's going to take a bit of an effort to rewire ourselves away from these all too easily binary ideas, which after all we only scramble to get them, to get our thoughts in order, to give ourselves some comforting illusion of control and knowledge. Anyway, I've got to finish this sandwich. I'm actually shivering here, Borg. It's freezing. But that's better. That's better. Simple. Well, we've had our coffee, we've had our egg sandwich, and now we've had a right old go, Borg. It's not exactly what we want, but you can see that it kind of represents the thing well enough. We've messed about with the colours, trying to get back into it a little bit, Borg. It's been a long time since we've tried this sort of one. Fact is, we don't have the paint to pull it off. Even before any questions of what, technique and success in our efforts, we don't have the paint for it. Need quite a lot. But that's what we've come up with. I dare say it could be improved by letting it dry a bit and then adding little touches, But I think in all, it's better to just leave it and be on to the next one. We'll have to put it down to a learning canvas, Borg. I just think it's something very frustrating when you stop observing and then you rely on your own daft ideas, which is all very well if you've developed them enough so that you can express what you want with them. Well, we haven't, so we're a bit frustrated, but we're going to leave it at that nonetheless. So we'll see you when we see you.